Hey, what's going on? I should probably look like right at the camera. Maybe I'll do one of those things. How you doing? It is Thursday night, and I was home here. I'm just kind of deciding what it is that I want to do with my night after going out and getting myself something to eat. And I thought myself, well, I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to play myself some Frogger. This is the Arcade Archives version of Frogger. Konami, the credited creator slash publisher from 1981, which would have made me all of 9 years old. I only recently started to play this again with any kind of regularity. I've been playing it a lot on Switch, and this is my first time playing it on the PS4. I haven't streamed on a PS4 in a long time. But we're going to see how we do. For those of you who haven't seen the Arcade Archives version of this game, just want to point out real quick what I'll be doing. Original mode is just that. It's an original gameplay mode. You can set any of the options that you want in terms of ease or how difficult the game is. What I like to play is this guy right here. This is Caravan mode. Caravan mode gives you 5 minutes, and that is it. Once the clock starts, it does not stop. You have 5 minutes to try and get as high a score as you can, which means that speed is everything. And then over here, the high score mode is just that. It's a high score mode. You don't get to change any of the difficulty, I don't believe, so you have to play the game as is. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to go ahead and go to original mode here really quick, just to kind of get myself warmed up a little bit, see whether there's any difference between this and the Switch version. There shouldn't be, but we will see. And I got to hit the options button. Of course, it shows you how to play. What starts? Like add credits as triangle. Okay, so here's Frogger. Actually, I want to see... Well, let me do this. I just want to see if I can... I really can't do... There we go. I just want to put a little bit of scan line in there. Okay, back up. Okay. Oh, where is it? There we go. Okay. So, if you haven't played Frogger before, it's a very basic concept. As I screwed up. Oh my god. The idea is just to get your frog across the pond here. Wow. And into your pits. Or your lily pads. There we go. Good thing I'm warming up before I start doing the high score or the caravan challenges, because I would do pretty bad. So my history with this game, honestly, I didn't play this a lot as a kid. I played it a little bit. Again, I was 9 when this came out, so I was pretty young. This was right around the time that I was starting to go to like convenience stores and arcades, but I still couldn't go on my own. Whoops, that was bad. We'll play again. There we go. I'll play better this time. And Frogger was a game that I would watch other people play, but I was never very good at it. I can't believe I keep doing that. All right. And I kind of played it a little bit more when I got a little older. And as I become an old man, I developed more of an appreciation for this game. This right around with Galaga, Galaxian, Dig Dug, a lot of the classics that have always been good, but I never played really because I was bad at them and because I had a limited amount of tokens or credits or quarters to use when I was a kid. So because of that, I really didn't play games that I wasn't any good at because I didn't feel like throwing those quarters or tokens away. There we go. So I really didn't play this all that much until I was an adult. There is, or at least there was, one of these machines at Fun Spot up in New Hampshire when I went up there to compete in the Twin Galaxies tournaments every year back in the early 2000s. As a matter of fact, the last time I went to Fun Spot, which was I think 2014 or 2015, they had one of these machines there and I played it there as well. I have gotten better, although this stream is not evidence of that, as I have been playing pretty poorly. But I can hold my own. I can usually get to about 10,000 points or so, which is a lot better than I used to be. There we go. So the idea is every 5 frogs you get to cross the finish line, the level resets, the pattern of how things crawl across the screen will change, and things either get faster or slower, or you'll have fewer of these things you'll need to cross from point A to point B, so it gets more difficult. You can see the fourth line of cars here, the race cars go by a lot faster. We have our first look at the snake here, which is a pain in the rear end. We have a seal who will kill you if you hang out on the end of one of the logs for too long. There we go. And I'm almost to 10,000, so I kind of redeemed myself a little bit, and I still have an extra life left. So that's not bad. Oh, and I got a trophy, and I died. Because, you know, as soon as I get a trophy, I'm so surprised that I killed myself. That's good. Poor frog. This game is great because of its simplicity, and yet the fact that it gets gradually more difficult. And honestly, in this game, it is all about what you do. It is your mistakes that eventually decide whether you live or die. It is all timing-based. You're tempted to be faster because you want to score more points. You also have a timer that you're competing against, making sure that you get to your lily pad before the timer runs out. But it's really about just timing identification, pattern recognition, your basic arcade game skills in order to play any arcade game well. So 13,000 isn't terrible. That should be good enough to get my score up in the on the list. There it is. Mark high score. Yes, we will do that. Okay, so now we're going to go ahead and we're going to go to caravan mode. Oh, record score. Look at this. I am getting trophies by the bucketful. We're going to go ahead and we're going to get out of this, back to title screen. We're going to go to caravan mode here, and we'll see what the scores look like. I'm almost afraid to look. On the Switch, I'm in the top 10. This isn't bad. And of course, the catch with this is because the timer is always running, like, you can't really dawdle. You want to be able to try and pick up bonuses like the bonus flies or the female frogs in order to get bonus points, but really it's about speed here. If you can combine speed and bonus points, that's great, but you may not always be able to do that. Here we go. So that took a little less than 45 seconds. So I need to get to 15,000 points in order to get into the top 10. I don't know how many players there are. I always am interested to see how many players play these modes. Not a lot of people do, which is a little sad, because the caravan mode is definitely a skills tester. But I think that people just play the first mode just because that's the first one that's available or the first one they see. Whoops, that was a mistake. That's too bad. I'd like to see more scores on here. I'd like to compete against more players. Can I get in there? Yes. Now, when I play this on Switch, I am crazy when it comes to restarts. If I make a mistake early, where it costs me some time, I usually will just reset it and start again. But because this is my first attempt here on the PS4, I'm just going to go ahead and try and play through it to at least register a score up on the board somewhere. And then you can just kind of wait it out. There is a crocodile here that pokes his head in the lily pads every now and again, so you have to be careful there. So here we are, stage 3. This is where things get a little more complicated. Again, the appearance of the snake really kind of messes with you. And what I like to do here is I like to try and go from left to right, or at least get the extreme ends done. There we go. Almost 10,000, so we're 2/3 of the way there. And notice how slow things go. This is what makes the game challenging and sometimes a little maddening. Is I got double the bonus score there for getting both the purple frog and also the fly. We're not going to get the fly that time, but that is okay. So we're up to 12,300 now. 1 life in reserve. This is usually where I start to make mistakes. Yeah. Whoa. Yikes. Ugh, this stage sucks so much. There we go. Because now everything's working against you. The timer's working against you. The timing is working against you. You have a lot of different obstacles working against you, too. It's really easy to make a mistake. Oh! You have to stay in the middle so you don't get eaten by the walrus. We're down under a minute now. And my strategy of trying to go for the ends went by the boards. Alright. Go! It's alright. So now I've got to go back down. Right, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on, come on! No, no! There we go. Alright. So now I'm what, 9th place? And might have a shot at 8th. Gotta hurry. Oh, nope, doesn't matter. 16.6. Yes, I am 8th. I will take that. Heck yeah, I'm going to register that score. We're going to try one more time. So that's one thing that I learned when I played this, is how to get that first fly, which helps. All of the Arcade Archives games have this caravan mode, which I really like because it adds so much pressure. It's almost like a speed run, but at the same time you're doing an arcade perfect run, so you're not allowed to make too many mistakes. If you do, not only do you lose lives, obviously, but you're also losing valuable time off the clock. So you really don't have time to mess around. That took a little bit longer than usual. Took about 45 seconds. And now I kind of started badly. Uh-oh. There we go. So we're not going to wait around there. Come on. All of the even-numbered stages, 2, 4, 6, they all have crocodiles instead of flies. So there are no extra bonuses other than the purple frog bonus, latching on to Frogger's girlfriend, I believe they consider that character to be. So you really just have to worry about speed in the even-numbered stages. The odd-numbered stages have the bonus flies, so you can be a little more discerning in terms of how you play them. Oh, this might have been a bad move. There we go. Okay. Something I always find interesting about streaming, and I really haven't been able to kind of communicate this until now, but I think I finally found the words. I used to spend a lot of time in arcades as a kid, as I've talked about time and time again on this channel. Wow, I should have been dead. And I didn't have a lot of money. I came from single mom household with a younger brother, younger sister, so money was tight. So I would go to arcades with maybe $5, maybe. And oftentimes it was less than that. So I did a lot of watching in arcades, which is a lot of what streaming is. I'm playing and you get an opportunity to watch. The big difference, of course, is when I was watching other people play, I didn't expect them to narrate the experience for me. It was just kind of watching them play and learning the ins and outs of each game so that when I would play, I would hopefully have a bit more skill or at least some better idea of how to play the game under my belt. And streaming can definitely do that. You can pick up certain skills from certain streamers so that when you start to play the game yourself, oh boy, that's death, that you can achieve better results. I always find that to be a plus, and it's one of the reasons why I like to do streaming. I just haven't done a lot of it because, well, the YouTube algorithm kind of punishes live streaming. Oh, doctor. But YouTube for me is just the best streaming source because I don't have an audience on Twitch, so this way I have possibly 500 people that would want to watch, although I don't really know that that many people would. And it's just fun to do. Probably should consider doing a bit more streaming. We're close to a high score. Let's see. Well, that's not a good start. That's where I need to be. Nope. Still a high score, though. 16... Yep. So that's still 8th. And we'll do this one more time. Alright, so... this is the key to getting that first fly, if you care, is to start over on the right. And it's almost always, provided you stay in that pattern, it's going to be in that second lily pad from the left. So it's a pretty easy get. And when you're playing this mode in particular, you want to try and get as many bonus advantages as you can get. Yeah. When I play high score challenges like these and I see scores like that, I'm like, all right, I know I'm not hitting those. As long as if I can get into the top 5, I'm pretty happy, or the top 3, I'm pretty happy. I think that my best score, though, I think I'm pretty close to that. I think 18,000 might be it. I don't remember because I haven't played on the Switch in a little bit, and that's where I had been playing this almost exclusively, just because PS4 here has been really finicky. I have an external hard drive for the PS4. I bought a 4 terabyte hard drive a while back, and over the last year or so, it started to squeal a little bit. It's a Seagate, and I feared the worst. I feared that the platter was getting stuck. So I stopped using the PS4 altogether because I have way more games than I do on-board hard drive space, and I didn't want to have to pick and choose what I had installed. So I stopped playing the PS4 for a while, and then I figured I would fire it up, and the platter squeal stopped for the most part. So I kind of started playing again, little by little, and I'm kind of glad because I have the Yakuza games that I want to get back into playing. And I'd like to do more streaming. Wow, that was almost bad. But yeah, I just, as a matter of fact, I just picked up tonight, and I bought the digital version of it because I have the others digitally. But I bought the Mega Man ZX Legacy Collection, and I'm going to play that. Although I'm going to play that offline because I don't know what I'm doing with that. I've never played any of those. So that'll be a brand new experience for me. But yeah, when the PS4, I thought it was done and I wasn't going to be playing it anymore. I played a lot of Switch stuff. I played some stuff on my Xbox One as well. A lot of stuff from my Xbox One I have, and I have such a huge backlog because I don't have the spare time I once had. Wow, there are 3 cars there. So, I mean, I have a ton of stuff that I could be playing, and I don't have the time. I always tell my students, I'm like, don't grow up, because all your free time is going to be gone. Once you get to be an adult, all that free time you remember having, you don't have that anymore. It doesn't mean that a bad thing, but it's just kind of a fact of life. Oh, that's not good. Alright, down to my last life, so now I gotta be smart. Or not. What have I been playing recently? I just started, believe it or not, I'm not a big Animal Crossing guy, but I bought Animal Crossing for the 3DS because there was a My Nintendo deal on it, and I had a bunch of platinum coins kicking around that I had to use before they expired. So I went ahead and I bought it, and I've been messing with it a little bit. It's a lot of work. It reminds me of, like, raising a Tamagotchi. A lot of busy work to do, and you feel bad, or you feel like you're not playing the game right when you don't log in every day. But there are some catchy parts to it, too. It's cute. I do remember playing the original Animal Crossing when that was a thing for the GameCube, but that was because of the NES games that were on there. We're not, I don't think, going to get to the high score. We might, but I only have one shot at it here. So I've been playing that. I've been doing a lot of 3DS stuff of late, just because that's what I have at my disposal at work when I have downtime. This is not going to happen, I don't think! Oh, I got there! And it doesn't matter at this point. I'm good. Not gonna get there. That's okay. What do we get? 17,570. So that's good for 6th. I will take that. So we'll go back to the title screen. We'll try the high score mode real quick, since I seem to be on a bit of a roll. So 3DS games I've been playing. On the Switch I've been playing Super Smash Brothers, because why not? I did buy the new Super Smash Brothers Pass, so whenever those characters come out, I'll certainly be on board for that. I have a lot of games for the Switch I just haven't had time to get back around to. Like I have Pokemon Shield in there. I have the expansion pass, so at some point I have to get around to playing that as well. So yeah, I've got a decent backlog, and of course I got all my retro stuff that I need to get back around to. And speaking of which, hey Captain, how you doing, buddy? Figured I would talk a little bit about what's been going on with the channel. Unsealed has been going awesome. I've opened up some really cool stuff this year. We're in our 3rd season. Basically, the way that I've been looking at it is every year is a season, so when it's a new year, I basically start a new season. So this is the 3rd year of the show. I'm really happy with the way that things have gone. Viewership isn't really the most important thing, is as important at least as it is for me to just have fun. And some of the stuff that I've had a chance to open has been really awesome. And this year, and I've shown some pictures on my Twitter feed and on my Instagram feed, I have a bunch of sealed video game magazines that I'm going to get to. As a matter of fact, I just won an auction for another one tonight, which I believe is a GamePro from '96. So I'm looking forward to getting to open that. Video game magazines are always going to have a special place in my heart. I bought so many as a kid, or as a young adult, I should say. It really, I mean, the money I spent is kind of ridiculous. Every month, I didn't subscribe to any. I bought these issue by issue. So I bought EGM, I bought EGM2, I bought Game Fan, I bought Game Pro, I bought Game Players, I bought OPM when that was a thing, the official Dreamcast magazine, things like that. I spent so much money on video game magazine, Game Informer, goodness, and I regret none of it. Video game magazines were awesome, and in my personal opinion still are. Thanks very much for that compliment, Captain. I am very happy to still be making videos, and it's funny, I still use the same laptop that I've been using. It is the laptop that I got when I went back to school, and it still works like a charm. I don't use my my iPad anymore because my iPad battery sucks. And where I used to film, what I called Retro Central was my room. My collection has gotten so large, I just don't have the room to film in there anymore. I will be moving this year, though. That is pretty much a done deal. And I'll be moving to a place that has more room. So I'm hoping to put together a retro room or a gaming room and have better access to that. I know a lot of people have been asking to see my library, and I'm hoping to be able to do that next year. That is the hope. But the move isn't going to be coming for a little while. It's not going to happen until after the school year is out. But videos will still continue for the foreseeable future here. My pile of games is dwindling a little bit, and I do have to kind of put the brakes on that soon. Whoops. Simply because I've spent a fair amount of money on unsealed stuff. All of it's stuff that I buy myself, which I don't, I certainly don't regret. I wouldn't do it if I didn't want to do it. I was never expecting this to be anything more than a passion project, so it's not like I'm going to be jumping online and starting a Patreon or anything like that. That's never been my intent. But after a while, the money spent, I gotta dial it back. So that's going to be happening soon. One place that I'm hoping to get some more sealed stuff will be at Retro World Expo in September. I did get some sealed stuff from there last year, including Grandi Extreme and Champions of Norath. Both of those were sealed. So I'm hoping to get more of those at the show this year. I am back on the social media staff for the show. Very excited about that. Oh, no, that's bad. And the social media team is actually getting a little bit of a stipend this year, which is brand new, and I'm excited about that as well. When I move, will I still work at the same school? So I don't know what the plan for next year is yet. My role is probably going to change. This year I've been more in an assistant teacher role. That is probably going to change next year, where I may be doing more substitute teaching work instead. But I don't know that for sure. I kind of have to see how things play out. But if I do move, it's not going to be very far away. I should still be pretty close to the same town. As a matter of fact, if everything works the way I think it will be in the same town, just not as close. I live literally within 2 miles of where I work, so I won't be able to have that short a commute anymore, but I think I'll still be pretty much in the same building. Have I played Frogger Adventures on the Game Boy Advance? You know, I haven't. The Frogger games, aside from like this, like the Frogger remake for the PlayStation, for example, or Frogger 3D, I never could get into those. I like the fact that they did something new with the IP, but I never really got into them. I probably should check them out. They would be fun to revisit, or at least to look at and see how they're different. Frogger's Adventures Temple of the Frog got a Goodwill. Goodwill is a great place to get games. Also around here, and I think there are other places around the country that have it too. I don't think we're the only place. But Sabres has been a good place to find some retro stuff. The Goodwill here near where I live closed down last year, so we've been without a Goodwill for a while. I also have a pretty good independent game store not far from here that I like to go to. I haven't been there recently just because money's been tight, but I like to go there as well, and they have some pretty cool stuff. I just haven't bought a lot of loose or games that I need to add to my collection lately, simply because the amount of room that I have is pretty small to be able to store games. I am literally running out of room. I have, and I'm not going to take a picture of it because it just looks bad, but I have like piles and piles of PS2 games that are just on the floor next to my bookcase because I don't have the shelf space to store them. It's been, that part of my collecting adventure has been great. I love the fact that I have so many PS2 games. A lot of that came from when GameStop was trying to just blow out all of their PS2 stuff. Not to mention the fact that the local independent game store that I was talking to you guys about just a couple of minutes ago, they've really had some great pricing and have given me deals. So I've taken advantage. When I see deals, I don't like to leave them sitting around, especially if they're games that I don't own. And part of that, too, was when I was going to do the Retro Referee project, I accumulated a lot of sports games, which, again, I don't regret because it's still my favorite genre. But those take up a lot of room, too, especially your Sega Genesis games when they're complete. Those plastic cases, they do take up quite a bit of room. And I have a lot of long box PS1 games as well, and those are not small when it comes to storage space. So, but yeah, I mean, retro collecting is still in a good place, I think, GameStop notwithstanding. No matter what happens to them, I think that there's always going to be other alternatives. Right now, I get almost all of my stuff for unsealed from eBay. And that is both a good, it's been both a blessing and a curse, because eBay pricing is eBay pricing, and you're not always going to get great deals when you shop on eBay. But I found a lot of sealed stuff for reasonable prices there. And some other things as well. I think, you know, I've tried to buy stuff from Amazon too, and I've had some bad luck with that. In fact, I had bought what was supposed to be a new copy of Dave Mirra Freestyle BMX 2 because I have a sealed copy of that Mirra Freestyle BMX remix for the original PlayStation, and I wanted to do an unsealed episode on those. And the copy that I got from Amazon is a resealed copy. You can tell by the way that it's packaged, which kind of sucks. But that's the chance you take when buying Amazon, unfortunately. I think a lot of stuff that I wind up getting on Amazon, I tend to get Amazon like gift cards for my birthday and things. A lot of ooh, that's not good. A lot of Amazon stuff, I think, I would be using for more modern games or for gift cards. I'd like to say that I wish I could say that that wasn't the case, and that I'd be able to use the Amazon gift cards to get new games, because I'd love to be able to use those to keep funding the show, but it's just not to be. I've had way too many instances with Amazon where when they say that something is new, they really don't mean that it's new. They mean that it's resealed, or that they got it in new condition, and they have access to a shrink wrap machine, and they went ahead and they rewrapped it. And while that's fine for people who just want to kind of play those games, for the purpose of my show, that's not good at all. In fact, if you've watched this week's Unsealed, and I did not get this from Amazon, I got it from eBay, but the copy, oh boy. Oh, I can't believe I did that. Still good for 11th. The copy that I got from eBay of Sega Genesis Collection from Digital Eclipse, it had an instruction manual that was just 2 pages, and it was cut weird. I'm thinking it was a factory defect, and it's not the fault of the eBay seller, but when I showed it last night, because I don't open these, it definitely caught me by surprise. And it was a little unfortunate, because the only copy of the Sega Genesis Collection that I had was disc only, so I was looking forward to having that so I would have it complete, and now, unfortunately, whoops, that sucks, I don't. So, yeah, you kind of caveat emptor when it comes to buying stuff unseen. You kind of have to trust the sellers, but that's a rarity with eBay. I've generally had pretty good fortune when it comes to eBay. I've only had 2 issues. That one that I just talked about, and there was a copy of, or it was supposed to be a brand new copy of NBA Live 95 for the Super Nintendo, and it wound up being just a box with plastic on it. I didn't bother putting in didn't bother putting in any kind of complaint or anything. I just kind of rolled with it. But you know, I'm always a little, I'm always a little skeptical when I do things like that. You know, I am much more comfortable when I actually see what I'm getting. And the other reason I like buying from eBay is because you're shown the pictures of the stuff, so you know what it is you're buying. Versus Amazon, almost nobody puts any pictures up. You see either new or good condition or whatever it is, and you kind of have to trust who the seller is. Ooh, that was close. Also, not to change the subject, but when I got this, I just got this tonight because I had a PlayStation gift card, so I got this. I got the Mega Man ZX collection, and I also got ER Kung Fu, which I may stream at a later date. That's a game that I played at a convenience store of all places in the late 80s while I was in high school. That game, I know you've seen me play Mat Mania before in this channel, so you're familiar with my story there. That's one of the reasons that I love this. Oh, that's too bad. One of the reasons why I love this series is because a lot of these games take me back to when I was a kid. Oh man, I'm going to have very little room for error here from now on. It's my own fault, too. Like I was saying, that's how Frogger works. When you die, it is because of something you did. It is not something that the game does. And in this mode here, the only timer you have to worry about is just the timer at the bottom of the screen. So you don't really have to worry too much about making mistakes that are time-based. Except for maybe stage 5, where you only have a few things to cross at the top of the screen, a few helpers, which definitely makes things stressful later on. Alright. Now I just wait to cross over. We're going to miss the fly, which is too bad. So what else do I have going on? So I mentioned the magazines. The oldest magazine that I have, and I just got this in yesterday, is an EGM copy from November of 1992, so that would make it old. And it has Super Star Wars on the cover, and I remember that magazine specifically because Super Star Wars, I was psyched for that game. I bought that when it came out, because it was Star Wars, it was on the Super Nintendo, magazines were just raving about it, and with good reason. It's a very good game, although it is a bit on the difficult side. It sure looked great, and took advantage of a lot of the Super Nintendo's hardware capabilities. The sound is fantastic. Some of the Mode 7 sequences are really cool, too. Come on! Hey, how's it going? I am glad to see everyone here. I hope you guys have had a good week. It's almost over. Tomorrow's Friday. Hopefully you guys have some cool plans for the weekend, whether it's just playing some games or whether you're doing something fun. I don't know what I'm doing yet. I have no idea. We were supposed to get some snow tomorrow, but thankfully that has gone by the boards. Here in southern New England, a lot of people are mad because this winter has been pretty much a snowless winter. After, like, December 1st, there's been nothing. I am not one of those people, however. Oh, that sucks. I am fine with the fact that there hasn't been a lot of snow. And I scared some of my fellow teachers today, showing them some of the forecast models for next week. And it's funny because that's now changed. That there was a forecast model that was showing a snowstorm for next Thursday, but that is now not going to be a thing. So I'm happy about that. I really don't want any snow days now. Now that we are into March, I'm ready to just take on the rest of the school year. So hopefully it happens without any delay. Waiting on a new game in 2 weeks. I am waiting on a new game for next week, actually. I am getting the new baseball game. I'm getting MLB 20, the show. Hard to believe that the series is going to be 15 years old this year. And I did get the anniversary edition, so I'm going to have the 15th anniversary hat, and I'm getting the steelbook and the whole 9 yards. As problematic as baseball is with the cheating scandal and everything, and although it's not the most exciting sport, I've always had a soft spot in my heart for for video game baseball, going all the way back to the Commodore 64 in my days with hardball. Oh yeah, everyone's talking about Animal Crossing. Animal Crossing is going to be big, big, big for Nintendo, and with good reason. It's a lot of fun to play. I almost got a Tom Nook shirt from Kohl's that said "Forever Alone," and it's A space LOAN. Because that's kind of the thing with Animal Crossing, is you're always in debt to Tom Nook. Very much like real life, you're always in debt to somebody for the most part. So that's pretty interesting. I love the fact that kids love the game, although they don't understand the real life consequences surrounding a lot of the things that happen in the game, like having to put a down payment on the house, or having to pay for things, or having to do busy work in order to make money. But they figure it out pretty quick. Yeah, Animal Crossing is going to be big. I have Doom Eternal on pre-order. I'm still thinking I'm going to get it. But as always, I'm not sure. Obviously, I'll be getting it for the Xbox One X just because that's the better system that I have right now. I love my PS4, but this is an old school PS4 that's got this thing 5 years ago, and it does not handle newer games as well as the Xbox One X does. So that's what I wind up getting it for. And after that, I really don't know. I'm not getting the Final Fantasy VII remake, and I know that that's kind of disappointed some people. I didn't even bother with the demo, honestly. I like the original game as it is. Some of the gameplay changes are not what I wanted. And so I don't have to play it, so I'm not going to. I'm just going to kind of let people be excited about it, and I'm going to spend my time playing something else. I was tempted because the tin that you get with the Shinra keycard looked like it was a pretty cool idea, but not cool enough for me to spend money on that game. And I don't even know how it's going to run on this piece of crap, so I am not going to bother. I almost bought Shenmue 3 tonight, but it's kind of the same thing. In doing some background on the game, doing some reading, like some reviews and things, there is a bit of PS Pro enhancement versus the old school PS4 here, where the frame rate is like 10 to 15 frames per second worse on the old school PS4 here, and frame rate issues are things I just can't abide. I can't do it. It's not necessarily fair that they bother me, and it's just kind of technology, but I guess I'm a bit of a graphics snob when it comes to that. It's one of the reasons that I got the... Whoa, that sucks. It's one of the reasons I got the Xbox One X to begin with, is just because of what it could do graphically, and I didn't have an Xbox One yet. So I had traded in my Xbox 360 towards that. It's my last life, isn't it? Alright. Woo! Oh, I can't believe I did that. We'll go one more time here. Because it's been about 45 minutes. So yeah, so Doom Eternal maybe. MLB The Show 20 is a definite. I don't know that I'm going to stream that. I usually don't stream a lot of sports games unless they're arcade style, just because they take so long. And with sim games, I'm just not very good. Like, people want me to play NBA 2K. I'm like, no. I am an absolutely terrible 2K player. I have streamed some pinball in the past, as some of you know, and I may get back to doing that a little bit. But a lot of that stuff gets copyright stricken. Damn it! So I tend not to do that as much. Although I don't, I don't have ads or anything, so I don't bother. Yeah. This is a great game, although it took me many years to figure that out. Still remember when I was a kid and I saw this in arcades, and like, I'd watch people play it, and I'm like, okay, I'm not going to play this. I played a game called Berserk instead that some of you fellow old people may remember, which is a game that had voice, and it was shooting robots and things, and it was certainly more exciting. But as I've gotten older, I've certainly developed more of an appreciation for this game. Yeah, right. It's just so simple. I mean, there aren't a lot of rules. The controls, you don't have any buttons even. All you have is just the D-pad, so it doesn't take, although it takes skill to play, it doesn't take skill to learn. It's really easy to learn the basics. That's right. Damn it. Alright, I will play one more time. One more time. Because that was a bad game. Atari 26. So I was 6 in 78. So yeah, that would be right around the time that my mom's mom got the Atari 2600 at her house. It was either 78 or 79. And the thing I remember about the 2600 was that we had it set up on a color TV, but it used those, I think James Rolfe called them the Devil's Pitchforks. Those U-shaped forks on the back of a switch box. And no one could ever get those to stay in my family but me. So I was always tasked when it was time to play the Atari. I was always tasked with setting it up. So I've been the tech guy a lot of my life, let's just say. I mean, if we want to go way back, my first video game was Pong, basically, on an APF TV Fun. It was back in 1976. I was 4. My dad brought it home, and my mom always likes to remind me that I always beat my dad when we played, and I was 4 years old, 4 or 5 years old, and it ticked my dad off so much that he stopped playing with me before long. He was not a very gracious loser, especially when losing to a 4 and 5 year old. I guess it was pretty embarrassing. But that kind of set the stage. I mean, from there. You know, I remember going to like campgrounds, or I remember, that's not good, or mall arcades when those were starting to be a thing, and playing video games in there. My best memories were going to the mall that I went to is in a place called Holyoke, Mass, which is about 10 minutes north of Springfield. And Springfield's where the Basketball Hall of Fame is, for those of you that don't live around here. And in the Holyoke Mall, for a while, they actually had 3 arcades. They were all Just Fun arcades. And really it was 2.5 because one of them was like a side room. But there were 3 arcades, and the one that I always went in was kind of like a satellite arcade just off of the main one. And they had, in that room, they had Gorf, Popeye, and Wizard of War, and I played all of those. Those were awesome. Popeye was great. The fact that it came out for the NES, I loved that, because it was such fun to play. So I remember that. I've talked about the pool hall that I went to when I was younger, that my mom still gives me grief for going to as a kid, and that had what did they have? They had Mr. Do, which is basically like a Dig Dug clone, and it had Tutankhamun, which is Tutankhamun. It's an Egyptian themed shooter. Okay, that's something that sticks from the Switch. There we go. Trying to go down in Frogger is a little bit problematic, and it shouldn't be. So I went to that pool hall. Donkey Kong Jr. was there. Pole Position was there. Later on, there was a... oh, that's not good. There was an arcade machine by the name of Sidearms from Capcom that was there. So I went to that pool hall a bit. For a short amount of time, I lived just above a convenience store that had a Defender machine in it. Oh, you gotta be kidding. Oh, it's not good. So I lived there for a while. Then when I moved to Greenfield, I lived down the street from another convenience store that had ER Kung Fu, Life Force, Mat Mania, which I played on this channel, Mag Max, and a few others. And that was a lot of fun. That was when I was in high school, so I could walk there whenever I wanted. And by then, I was doing a little bit better in terms of having money, so I could go in there and I could play Life Force to my heart's content. So that was a lot of fun. So this has been 50 minutes of Frogger. I hope that you guys enjoyed watching as much as I enjoyed playing. There's only so much Frogger a person can play before it kind of gets boring. It's fun to kind of get back into the swing of things on the stream side. If you guys liked it, I can certainly do more in the future. But in the meantime, I hope you guys have an awesome weekend, and we'll probably do this again real soon. Until the next time, my friends, take care of yourselves and each other, and I'll see you later.